Chapter 9. After a sleepless night, Blake got up early, cooked sausage, scrambled eggs, and toast for breakfast, and slipped the food into the refrigerator. He hoped it would make up for the comment he'd made about ranching the night before. His father loved the ranch, and Blake was sorry he'd offended him. He wrote a note for his dad that read, "Dad, breakfast is in the fridge. Love you guys. Blake." The sun was still behind the mountains as Blake drove through town. He parked in a lot behind the restaurant and headed inside to round up utensils. He considered what he wanted on the menu while he took mental inventory of the tools. Blake envisioned being open for a couple of hours in the morning, maybe 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and opening for dinner around 5. He pulled a small notepad and pencil out of his pocket and jotted down his thoughts. Frittatas, souffle, molasses cookies, and pesto chicken ravioli. The door chimed in the distance. "Hello?" Blake called out as he headed for the dining room. Before he could exit, the double doors that separated the kitchen and dining room swung open and hit him in the nose. "Ow!" Blake yelped, grabbing hold of his nose. "Blake, I'm so sorry," Maribel said, reaching out for his arm. "It's fine." He could feel the warm stream of blood coming from his nose. "Hold on," Maribel said, rushing to the counter and grabbing a wad of paper towels from the dispenser. She went over to Blake and held the towels against his nose. "Hurting you wasn't my plan. I just thought I'd come by and help. Denise gave me a key. Didn't mean to startle you." "I appreciate you coming in to help," Blake said. He reached for the paper towels, but Maribel pushed his hand away. "I've got it. Sit down over here." She motioned toward a cubbyhole in the stainless steel counter. "I'm okay." "Don't argue. Come on," Maribel said, taking one hand and gently leading Blake to a spot to sit down. He followed her orders, allowing Maribel to take care of him. "Just like the old days." "What does that mean?" she asked, checking to see if his nose had stopped bleeding. "You're taking care of me. You used to do that when we were in high school." "It's nothing." Maribel held the towel against his nose for a few minutes until it stopped bleeding. She removed the paper towel and tossed it in the trash before heading to the bathroom to wash her hands. "All right, I've cleaned up and I'm ready to help. What are you working on?" "Well, I came in to make sure I had all the utensils I need, but I really need to write the menu. What do people around here like to eat?" Maribel tilted her head. Her long braids dangled by the side of her face, her brow creased, and her eyes met Blake's stare. He watched as her face softened. "What do you have in mind?" "Frittatas, a nice souffle, lamb pierogies, fresh arugula salad, things like that." Maribel wrinkled her nose. "You know this is friendly, right? You don't think those items fit?" "I think you need to remember where you are. We're a hard-working town. People see something like souffle, they probably won't order it. You want real food around here." "Souffle is real food." "Maybe, but it doesn't sound like it. How about something people are familiar with?" "Everyone knows what souffle is, don't they?" Maribel smiled. "You have been gone too long. I guess we'll find out if that's true next week. But first, what is a souffle?" Maribel asked, folding her arms over her chest. "Souffle is an egg dish. I'm sure you've had it. Soft, fluffy eggs in a ramekin. The ingredients can vary. It just depends on what you want," Blake said. "That's all great, but you need a different name for it." "Okay, I'm open to suggestions." "I bet I've had that before. How about we call it Eggs Divine?" Maribel said. "No way. We're not going to refer to souffle as Eggs Divine." "How about we test out both names for this dish on the menu for the first week? One day we'll use souffle, and the next day we'll use Eggs Divine. We can let the customers decide." "Deal. Let's see what happens." "Great. If I win, I'll take you out to dinner." It took a moment for Blake to process what Maribel had said. Was she open to spending time with him outside of work? "Okay, but I like a good home-cooked meal. If I win, how about you cook me dinner? And if you win, I'll come by and make you and the fam dinner." Blake held out his hand to shake on the deal. Maribel stared at it for a moment before slipping her fingers into his palm. He gently shook her hand, lingering for a moment. Maribel looked into his eyes. Blake thought he saw something in her gaze, but she broke eye contact after a few seconds. "Sounds like a good plan. May the best man or woman win." "I'm a chef, so you better up your cooking game," Blake said, winking at her. I can't cook much, but that doesn't matter. Why is that? Because I'm going to win. The front door chimed and Jordan yelled out, I'm here. What are we doing today? Blake felt a bit of disappointment. He was thankful Jordan had shown up to help, but it meant he and Maribel were no longer alone. We're in the kitchen, Maribel called out. Jordan appeared in the doorway with a smirk on her face. You two are here early. She folded her arms and raised her eyebrows. You're late, Maribel said. I'm glad you're here, though, because we have a question. What? How do you feel about souffle? I don't know what that is. See, Maribel said. Jordan, tell him no one knows what a souffle is. Oh, come on. You ladies know what souffle is. I think Maribel is right, Jordan said. What do you think about eggs divine instead of souffle? Jordan tilted her head. I think that's a great idea. We'll see what happens when we put eggs divine on the menu, Blake said. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. This is a small town. Nobody's going around talking about souffle, but they probably will talk about eggs divine.